Prepare yourselves for an exhilarating expedition into the forbidden depths of vampire mythology. Venture with us into the realm of ancient legends, stories of immortality, and the relentless pursuit of eternal life. We will journey into the heart of darkness, challenging your courage and altering your perception. Are you prepared to immerse yourself in the rich tapestry of vampire lore, ready to uncover the truths that lie beneath the surface? Welcome to Tabletop Mythology, where we will discuss the myths and legends of mythological creatures throughout various cultures. In this exciting journey, we'll delve into the roots of these creatures, tracing their evolution across different civilizations. We'll unravel the mystery behind their existence, their significance in ancient lore, and their remarkable influence on cultural narratives. We will examine the varied interpretations of these creatures, looking at their diverse representations in both historic and contemporary contexts. I'm thrilled to have you with us on this journey. Our quest begins in the mists of time, where ancient civilizations spun stories of mysterious creatures that roamed under the moonlight, seeking the vital essence of human life. Such tales, passed across generations, spoke of entities that defied nature and life itself. The Greeks narrated the Lamia, a sinister creature, and Romanians the Strigoi, an infamous nightmare. These stories not only instilled fear, but also shaped our understanding of vampire tales, setting their foundational framework. These early myths laid the foundation for the vampire lore we know today. As humanity progressed, the lines between myth and reality blurred. Tales of vampiric figures began to intertwine with historical accounts of ruthless rulers and bloodthirsty nobility. Their tyrannical reigns and brutal practices further fueled the fire of vampire lore, their names etched in the annals of history as real-life vampires. Imagine, if you will, the 15th century reign of Vlad III, better known as Vlad the Impaler. His rule was marked by a terrifying fondness for impalement, earning him a fearsome reputation across Europe. His brutality was so extreme that many began to associate him with the bloodthirsty creatures of myth, giving rise to the legend of Count Dracula. Then there was Elizabeth Bathory, a high-ranking Hungarian noblewoman in the late 16th and early 17th centuries. Stories whispered of her bathing in the blood of virgins to maintain her youth, a chilling echo of the life-draining habits of vampires. These historical figures, with their gruesome tales, only served to reinforce and expand the vampire lore, making it more tangible and even more terrifying. The vampire, it seemed, was not merely a creature of myth, but could be a man or woman of flesh and blood, lurking in the highest echelons of power. Our journey into the depths of vampire lore takes a turn from historical figures to their enduring legacy in popular culture. Vlad the Impaler's gruesome reign and Bathory's chilling rituals have left an indelible imprint on our collective consciousness, shaping our perception of the vampire. Vlad III, or Vlad Tepes, with his ruthless methods of execution, became the inspiration for one of literature's most iconic characters, Count Dracula. Penned by Bram Stoker in 1897, Dracula embodies the brutal and bloodthirsty nature of Vlad, casting a long, terrifying shadow over popular culture that persists to this day. On the other hand, Bathory's rumoured habits of bathing in virgin blood to maintain her youth inspired a different breed of vampire tales. These stories often feature powerful women who drain the life force of others to retain their beauty and vitality, a theme prevalent in many modern vampire narratives. The horrifying practices of these historical figures have endowed the vampire myth with a potent blend of fact and fiction, making it a captivating subject of fear and fascination. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the evolution of vampire lore in the next scene. As we delve deeper into the murky waters of vampire lore, we cross the borders into Hungary, where another figure was painting a terrifying picture of her own. Born into nobility in 1560, Elizabeth Bathory, dubbed as the Blood Countess or the Countess Dracula, stands as a chilling testament to the vampire's evolution in popular culture. Often portrayed as a beautiful yet deadly figure, Bathory's obsession with youth and beauty led her down a path of unspeakable cruelty. Legend has it that she committed heinous acts of murder and torture, her victims often being young girls. Her twisted belief was that bathing in their blood would preserve her own vitality, a ritual that echoes through the corridors of horror literature and cinema, shaping the archetype of the female vampire. This gruesome narrative not only expanded the vampire myth, but also introduced an element of gender dynamics, giving rise to powerful female vampires in literature and film. This shift from the male-dominated vampire narratives such as Dracula to the terrifying tales of Bathory showcases the adaptive nature of folklore, reflecting societal changes and fears over time. In the next scene, we shall further explore how the vampire lore continued to evolve and adapt, penetrating deeper into our collective psyche. As we emerge from the chilling halls of Bathory's castle, we find ourselves stepping into the Victorian era. The 19th century, a time of immense cultural and societal shifts, also marked a significant turning point in vampire lore. The enigmatic creatures of the night were no longer confined to the whispers of folklore or the chilling tales of royal bloodlust. They were about to make their grand entrance into the world of literature, forever etching their fangs into the annals of classic horror. Enter Bram Stoker's Dracula. Published in 1897, this seminal work introduced the world to the charismatic and terrifying Count Dracula, a figure whose insatiable thirst for blood would captivate readers for generations to come. Stoker's Dracula was more than just a vampire. He was a symbol of the era's anxieties, a mirror reflecting its fears of the unknown and the forbidden. The novel's success catapulted vampires into mainstream consciousness, transforming them from creatures of myth into literary icons. But it wasn't just the male vampire that held the spotlight. Building on the terrifying legacy of Bathory, the female vampire continued to evolve in literature, personifying the era's anxieties surrounding female sexuality and power. These narratives further expanded the vampire mythos, showcasing its ability to adapt and resonate with each new generation. In the next scene, we will delve into how this literary phenomenon influenced the portrayal of vampires in modern media, shaping our perceptions and fears of these immortal beings. As we turn the page from the Victorian era, we find ourselves stepping into the flickering lights of the silver screen. With the dawn of the 20th century, vampires made the leap from literature to film, forever immortalizing their haunting presence in the world of cinema. It began quietly with silent films such as Nosferatu, where the vampire was portrayed as a ghastly, monstrous figure, a far cry from the charismatic Count Dracula of literature. However, as cinema evolved, so did the portrayal of vampires. Enter Bela Lugosi with his hypnotic gaze in the 1931 film adaptation of Dracula, a performance that would set the benchmark for all vampire portrayals to come. Lugosi's Dracula was suave, sophisticated and terrifying, a symbol of the era's fascination with the exotic and the forbidden. But Lugosi's portrayal was just the beginning. As decades rolled on, actors like Christopher Lee and Gary Oldman brought their own interpretations to the timeless character, adding layers of complexity and depth. The silver screen era also saw the rise of the female vampire, with characters like Carmilla and Lucy Westenra captivating audiences with their seductive allure and deadly charm. These portrayals further expanded the vampire mythos, showcasing the genre's ability to adapt and resonate with each new generation. These cinematic portrayals have significantly influenced our perceptions of vampires, shaping our fears and fascinations with these immortal beings. As we step away from the silver screen, we find ourselves immersed in the pixelated landscapes of the virtual world. Vampires have not only conquered literature and cinema, but they have also sunk their fangs into the realm of video games. Titles like Castlevania have allowed players to step into the shoes of vampire hunters, battling the forces of darkness in epic confrontations of good versus evil. These games not only offer thrilling gameplay, but they also enrich the vampire mythology, weaving intricate narratives around these immortal beings. From the gothic aesthetics of Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines, to the immersive RPG experience of The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Dawnguard, video games have provided a new platform for expanding and exploring vampire lore. The player is no longer a passive spectator, but an active participant in the vampire narrative, facing off against these creatures of the night, unraveling their mysteries, and sometimes even becoming one of them. This interactive medium has brought a new dimension to the vampire mythos, allowing us to engage with these creatures in ways we never have before. As we move into the final scene, we will reflect on the enduring appeal of vampires, considering why these immortal beings continue to captivate our imaginations from the written page to the silver screen, and now, the virtual realm. As we delve further into the digital age, the boundaries between different forms of media are becoming increasingly blurred. No longer confined to the realm of video games, the Castlevania series has become a cross-platform phenomenon, breathing new life into the vampire narrative. The treacherous journey of the Belmont family, the vampire hunters who have sworn to rid the world of Dracula's curse, has captivated players for decades. Now, with the release of the Castlevania anime on Netflix, this epic tale has found a new canvas. The series skillfully adapts the game's gothic aesthetic and complex lore, bringing the pixelated characters to life in vivid animation. The anime not only retells the story of the Belmont's eternal struggle against Dracula, but also expands upon it, giving depth to the characters and exploring the moral complexities of their quest. It's a dark, bloody tale of humanity's struggle against the forces of darkness, told through the lens of one family's destiny. Viewers are not just spectators in this narrative, but participants, drawn into the world of Castlevania by its rich mythology and compelling characters. They experience the fear, the hope, the desperation and the triumph of the Belmonts as they face off against Dracula and his minions, the narrative echoing the thrilling gameplay of the original series. By branching out into different forms of media, Castlevania has cemented its status as a pillar of vampire lore, continuing to captivate audiences with its unique blend of gothic horror and action-packed gameplay. As we look to the future, it's clear that vampires will continue to evolve, finding new ways to sink their fangs into our collective psyche. As we traverse the globe in our exploration of vampire lore, we land on the island nation of Japan, a place where the vampire mythos takes on an entirely new dimension. In the realm of anime, vampires are not just bloodthirsty monsters or seductive predators, but complex characters full of depth and emotion. Series like Hellsing and Vampire Knight offer unique perspectives on vampire lore, blending Western mythology with Japanese storytelling techniques to create captivating narratives. In Hellsing, we are introduced to Alucard, a powerful vampire charged with protecting England from supernatural threats. But Alucard is not your typical vampire. He's a tragic hero, cursed with immortality and struggling with his monstrous nature. He's a reflection of the darkness within us all, a symbol of the eternal struggle between our baser instincts and our better angels. Vampire Knight, on the other hand, takes us into the heart of a love triangle between a human girl, a vampire prince, and a vampire hunter. It's a tale of forbidden love and tragic destiny, full of anguish and longing. The show explores the moral complexities of the vampire-human relationship, challenging our perceptions of good and evil. By reinterpreting Western vampire lore through the lens of Japanese culture, these anime series offer fresh, innovative takes on the vampire mythos. They delve into the psychological and emotional aspects of vampirism, exploring themes of identity, morality, and the human condition. Through stunning animation and intricate storytelling, they breathe new life into the vampire narrative, proving once again that the allure of the vampire is truly universal. As we continue our journey through the world of vampires, we'll see how this timeless myth continues to evolve, adapting to new cultures and mediums and captivating audiences around the globe. As we delve deeper into the digital realm, we find that vampires have also made their mark in the world of video games. These immortal beings have been given new life, not just as characters, but as avatars that players can embody, allowing them to experience the vampire mythos in a more personal and immersive way. From action-packed RPGs like Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines, to the survival horror of Resident Evil Village, vampires continue to captivate gamers with their unique blend of power and vulnerability. In Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines, players are thrust into the dark underworld of modern-day Los Angeles, where they must navigate the treacherous politics of vampire society while struggling to maintain their humanity. This game explores the moral implications of vampirism, forcing players to make difficult choices that blur the line between good and evil. With its complex narrative and richly detailed world, Bloodlines offers a nuanced portrayal of the vampire mythos that challenges our preconceptions about these creatures of the night. Meanwhile, Resident Evil Village introduces a new kind of vampire terror with its antagonist, Lady Dimitrescu, a towering vampire matriarch with deadly claws and an insatiable thirst for blood. Her imposing presence and chilling demeanor have quickly made her a fan favorite, proving that the allure of the vampire extends even into the realm of horror gaming. Whether they're the heroes or the villains, vampires in video games offer players the chance to explore their dark allure firsthand. They embody our fears and desires, our struggle for power, and our quest for redemption. They are a mirror that reflects our darkest selves, a symbol of the eternal struggle between our baser instincts and our better angels. As we continue our journey through the world of vampires, we will see how these timeless creatures continue to evolve and adapt, captivating audiences across all forms of media. As we trace the footprints of these nocturnal beings from ancient folklore to modern digital narratives, it becomes clear that vampires are far more than mere monsters. They are a cultural phenomenon. Vampires, whether portrayed as tragic heroes or malevolent monsters, have a grip on our collective imagination. They offer a tantalizing glimpse into the darker aspects of the human psyche, embodying themes of power, immortality, and the struggle between good and evil. Our fascination with these creatures of the night isn't just about fear, but also about desire and curiosity. We are drawn to their power, their immortality, and the allure of their eternal youth. But we are also repulsed by their monstrous nature, their insatiable thirst for blood, and the violence they represent. This dichotomy, this tension between attraction and repulsion, is what makes vampires such compelling figures in our cultural narratives. They symbolize our darkest fears and deepest desires, reflecting back at us our own complexities and contradictions. From the silver screen to the virtual realm, vampires continue to evolve and adapt, finding new ways to captivate audiences around the world. As we stand on the threshold of a new era in media, it's clear that the allure of these immortal creatures remains as potent as ever. So, as we draw our exploration of vampires to a close, let's reflect on the impact these immortal beings have had on our culture and imagination. We've ventured deep into the crypts of vampire lore, and though our journey draws to a close, the night is far from over. There's so much more to explore in the world of vampires. If you've enjoyed this thrilling exploration into the world of the undead, we invite you to join our community of explorers. Our thirst for knowledge, much like that of the immortal vampire, is insatiable. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. We have countless other vampire legends and lore waiting to be discovered. From the eerie crypts of Transylvania to the dark moors of Scotland, our journey is far from over. So, fellow travelers, until we meet again on our next vampire exploration, keep your eyes wide open and your mind wider. The world of vampires is vast and diverse, with each tale offering a new perspective on the human condition. Safe travels, adventurers, and we look forward to seeing you on our next adventure.